This is the relatively new Surface 3 from Microsoft. It's a small, lightweight tablet device which packs the punch of a full x86 processor. Could it be the ultimate small, portable, lightweight gaming device? Stay tuned to find out. So the new Surface 3 from Microsoft has strayed away from previous non-Pro devices by using a full Intel Atom x86 64-bit processor, as opposed to the ARM processor that the Surface RT and the Surface 2 used to use. And that means that unlike its predecessors, it's in a position to run full desktop applications. So that means things like Steam and Photoshop and the full catalogue of games that Steam provides. Of course, the Surface Pro 3 is technically a much better candidate for gaming, as it's got a much more powerful processor, but it's also thicker, heavier. It also has a fan inside it, which actually is quite noisy, and you can feel the air being blown out the sides of it and stuff. So that's not really a true tablet to me. That's more like a hybrid device, or maybe closer to a laptop than it is a tablet. It's also $200 more at least, so it's a much pricier proposition than the Surface 3, which is a much more traditional tablet in terms of its form factor. It's also a lot cheaper. In terms of actual specifications, this machine is rocking an Intel Atom X7 Z8 700 quad-core processor. Get your head around that. It also comes with options of either 2GB or 4GB of LPDDR3 RAM at 1600 MHz, and it also has storage options of either 64 or 128GB, but you can also expand the storage up to 200GB using a microSD card. The display is a 10.8-inch 1920 by 1280 clear type screen with 214 ppi and a rather unusual 3:2 aspect ratio. Compared to the older generations of Surface, the Surface 3 has many improvements, including in the aspect ratio, which is a much more tablet in shape. So unlike the old one, which was a 16:9 aspect ratio and looked quite weird in portrait mode, this one is a 3:2, so actually it makes a lot more sense in a portrait mode. Kind of looks a lot better. Other improvements include front-facing speakers rather than ones on the sides here, which make it sound a lot better. It's actually a quite nice sound, crystal clear and crisp. The cameras get a boost too, with a 3.5 megapixel camera on the front, but it's also got a full 1080p recording. But on the back you've got an 8 megapixel camera, which is more than capable for a device of this class, and is far more than what you're going to need on a tablet. And it actually looks really good as well. In fact, you can do a little bit of a test record here. So if I go into the camera app and start recording, you should be able to get an idea of what this looks like. So this will be the front-facing camera. Hello everybody, how are you? And we'll just do one on the rear-facing camera as well if we can. So change camera, press record. So as you can see, this is what the rear-facing camera would look like as well. It's kind of out of focus for some reason. The power button and volume rocker have now been moved to the top left of the device, and along the side we see a USB 3 port along with a mini display port and a mini USB port, which can now be used to both charge the device and for data transfer as well, which makes a welcome change to the proprietary magnetic power connector of the old Surface. But enough about the numbers. The main improvement to this Surface over the Surface RT or Surface 2 is the x86 processor. So the question is, can this play games, and if so, how well can it play them? Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting to be playing Crysis 3 on max settings here, but what I am wondering is, can we play older titles such as Half-Life 2 or Fallout 3, and if so, how well can we play them? If we can, then it certainly beats other tablets in its price range and class, which are basically limited to the likes of Angry Birds and Candy Crush Saga. So let's find out. First of all, Heaven Bench isn't pulling any spectacular numbers here. Although it does run, the frame rate at its lowest settings at native resolution isn't great to say the least, so it's running, but that's something, I guess. However, moving on to the types of games that you might expect to play on this device, Half-Life 2 runs perfectly. The high settings gives us full 60 FPS at the native res of 1920 by 1280, which is quite impressive for a device that is only 0.34 inches thick. It weighs just 1.37 pounds and it has no other fans or moving parts, so that's just crazy. We get a similar story with Fallout 3 at respectable settings levels. We find the game is perfectly playable. The Surface 3 is taken in its stride, although we're kind of looking more at the 30 FPS level, but we are essentially talking about an Xbox 360 level of gaming in a tablet that costs less than the 64GB iPad Air. Eurotruck Simulator is a more modern title, and although it's somewhat badly optimised, at the low to mid settings range it's perfectly playable on the Surface 3 as well. It's not necessarily just older titles that you can expect to play, but I just wouldn't expect to have these on high settings if you're playing some of the more modern games. That being said, the screen resolution and PPI is so high that even on low settings games do tend to look pretty great, but it does lead on to another little caveat, and that's the 3:2 aspect ratio. Unfortunately, outside of running of native res, if you want to downscale, it's going to be a little bit of a problem because most games won't actually accept a resolution that's 3:2 lower than the native resolution for some reason. So you're going to have either pillar boxing on the sides or letter boxing along the top, depending on the resolution you pick if you're downscaling. You may be able to get some games to run at a lower 3:2 resolution by playing with the config files, but not all games are going to support this, so it is something to bear in mind if that's going to bother you. There is more benefit to just playing games on the device itself though, because you also unlock the power of streaming via Steam, so that means that you can play any of your Steam titles from your gaming PC on your Surface wirelessly within your local area network or on your Wi-Fi network, so that is actually a pretty amazing thing. I mean, for example, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5 here on a tablet the size of an iPad, and that's just mental bananas. The Surface 3 is a great device for productivity as well, and this is where it really shines. It comes with a full year of Office 365 Personal, which you can use for free, so that allows you to install it on one phone, one tablet, and one PC. You also can run things like Adobe Photoshop and Dreamweaver on this device as well, which I actually found quite capable. I found it was more than able to run Photoshop and Dreamweaver, although a lot of people argue that the Surface Pro 3 is more suited to that task, but to be honest, I'm not having any problems with it. Another thing to bear in mind is that the Surface 3 is also compatible with the pen that the Surface Pro 3 came with, although you will have to buy it separately on this device, and that actually is really powerful as well for students and people looking to get into graphics design on a budget. This actually becomes a really good option because the pen, although I haven't got one here to test it, is actually really good. So in conclusion, is this the ultimate portable gaming machine? No, not really. The Surface Pro 3 is probably going to be a better choice for that. However, the fact that the Surface Pro 3 is incredibly expensive for the specifications that you get, you might as well just go and get a gaming laptop at that point. However, if you're looking for something that's more lightweight and portable and more traditionally a tablet, but has the ability to play games better than things like Candy Crush Saga, then the Surface 3 is definitely going to be the choice for you, as it's going to support a wider range of game streaming. It's going to play games locally or natively on the device as well through Steam. You're going to be able to use peripherals such as an Xbox 360 controller, and for me, that makes it the ultimate portable gaming tablet. Thanks for watching. Give us a like if you like this video, leave us a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done already. And thank you very much for watching. Take care. Ta-ra.